I listened the first version of Bully.
Highs and lows.
To be honest, it sounds better than both Vultures and other albums. It sounds like Kanye. At the same time it's not. And it feels like Kanye, who dropped 7 classic albums, is gone for good. The last album honestly don't depress me, and I think a lot of people will agree with me. And here I had an idea to tell you about an album that unfortunately never see the light of day. Yandhi. This album was supposed to be Kanye's 9th studio project after the high controversial Ye, an album about his struggles with bipolar disorder. And yes, in this video I will call him Kanye, not Ye. Kanye has been gone for a long time. Ye it's like a Taylor Jordan, doing reckless thing, while Second Personality came in later to apologize. So after Ye, fans were expecting something monumental, because Kanye was in a position. He had just released a string of albums, including the minimalist and depressive Ye, and the explosive Kitsy Ghost with Cudi.
I done proved it myself. Back on that ruler myself, I got new news to tell. Act like you knew.
Everything pointed. Yandhi being the next step in this era. Bold, experimental, yet still accessible for the wider audience, but that never happened. So what was Yandhi supposed to be? A mix between industrial sound of Jesus.
Thank God Almighty, they free at last. We was up at the party, but we was leaving fast. Had to stop
And melodic feel of Life of Pablo.
Let me crash here for a moment. Baby,
Even the album covers for those two projects share similarities, minimalist, bright and unfinished looking. But then everything changed. Kanye went to Africa, became deeply invested in religion, and Yandhi was postponed. Eventually it was completely transformed into Jesus King, and I wouldn't say Jesus King is a bad album, but it's weak. For me it's just a standard Kanye's beat with a gospel choir. The Sunday service even surrounding the album ended up being a bigger deal than the actual project itself. How? And after Jesus King, this became the norm. The album was no longer the main product, it was more of a side effect of performance, spectacle, something like that happened with Donda and Vultures. It's clear at this point, for Kanye's fans, the real event wasn't the album release, it was a 3 days leading up to it. Yandhi can be seen as a bridge between Jesus and the Life of Pablo, harsh mechanical beats mixed with the melodical hooks and more emotional moments. Take Ellen for example.
14 years. I've been putting water on my fingers, I'm gonna see them. I've been on the fourth since 2012. I was just rocking.
Damn, that's kinda odd. Let you try to be better. You put the bitches on the pedestal. I'ma eat them.
It sounds like Kanye take on the futuristic sci-fi music. He always looked ahead, and his music was often looked ahead of its time, even beyond music. Kanye's vision extent of architecture, car design, fashion, but it's topic for another video. Alien captured the atmosphere of robots, autotune, space, but still retain a raw emotional feel. Huracan was one of the most emotional charged tracks. It later transformed into the Donda version.
found a part of me, and I want you to see.
Like Jesus King, which is fully centered around religion, Yandhi was a transitional phase. Kanye seemed to turn between his God complex and search for something bigger. The album preserved the raw of energy of his past projects. The contrast especially when on Low Attraction, where he talks about the power of thoughts, karma.
The law of attraction means I'm for what you ask for, means I got what I asked for, exactly what I asked for.
Ideas that were important for him in this time and later carried over to Jesus King. Chakras. Chakras is another experimental track where he references energy points in the body and does it in a classic Kanye style.
Live freedom, this is freedom. Fuck your feelings, you can keep them. Show your grid when you greet them. A nigga near when you meet him. No God when you see him.
Yandhi had contribution from Tag, X, 6ix9ine, Nicki Minaj, Tidal Sing, and more. This collaboration could have set a new direction for rap in 2018-2019. The feature with X, for instance,
Nigga, back, ask for the money where your racks at. If you ain't brother, to the fuck, nigga, hush that. Cardiac.
it would have been one of his last official release. He was later posthumously featured on Donda 2, but Yandhi could have been a defining moment. So Yandhi wasn't completely lost, but its concept and vibe, ideas were erased. In many ways, this album was paved the way for something like Utopia. People immediately noticed the heavy Kanye's influence on this album. Many tracks were produced by Ye. Telekinesis was originally a Kanye and Tidal Sing track called The Future Sound.
Do you like the way it sounds? Let the future of the bounce. Do you like the way it sounds?
Unfortunately, it never made it into Yandhi or any other official releases. Only 5 years later did it finally resurface on Utopia. Telekinesis is a reminder of how Yandhi could have shaped music if it had been released. Many of its ideas later reappeared on different projects, but their original vision was lost. When Kanye announced the Yandhi, it felt like more than just another album. He revealed the cover art, which is mirrored Jesus, but the same minimalist aesthetics were there, signaling that Jesus' influence on Yandhi would be key. The entire vibe, the atmosphere, it all pointed toward something industrial, raw, rebellious, and futuristic. The album was scheduled for release in September 29, 2018, coinciding with his SNL performance.
Someday, I'm gonna lay down like God did.
Kanye was at the center of attention, and fans weren't just expecting a new album. They were expecting the next evolution of Jesus. This was supposed to be the moment when Kanye would return to his experimental phase, creating something aggressive, yet innovative and forward-thinking. And Kanye himself made it clear that he was working on something new. He said he was inspired by Indian music, experimenting with rhythms, with styles, and Yandhi would sound unlike anything before. It was setting up to be something monumental, an album that could have elevated his career on another level. Then, after his SNL performance, Kanye suddenly announced that Yandhi wasn't finished. Fans were stunned because everything was ready, and yet he said he needed more time to find a true sound. He then revealed he was flying to Africa to discover something that he hadn't unlocked yet. In October 2018, Kanye went to Uganda, built his own studio, and started recording new music. But instead of Yandhi, something entirely different emerged. Yandhi slowly became a shadow of Jesus King, and in that moment, the album was essentially dead. Thought we didn't realize it yet. In Uganda, you could already see how deeply religion was influencing Kanye. He had always been spiritual, but now his connection with God had become all-consuming. During the Sunday Service tour, which was originally meant leading up to Jesus King, Kanye fully immersed himself in a religious dance. These weren't just concerts, they were full-on Sunday service with a chair that later appeared on Jesus King. This was the moment Kanye completely abandoned his old music. He announced he would no longer use profanity in his music, and he was gone. In its place was Jesus King. At the end of the day, Jesus King is not a worthy replacement for Yandhi. Kanye scrapped one of the most ambitious projects in his career for a forgettable gospel album that failed to leave a lasting impact. And with that, one of Kanye's greatest what ifs was sealed away forever.